Hi, I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be doing the cross. We've got Easter coming up and this is really easy today to do, and I just love it, and I just want to show you and share this with you. So let's get started. The first thing I did is I took my piece of gourd. Now remember, this doesn't have to be a gourd and it doesn't have to be this shape. You could use wood, you could use anything that's out there that you could put this to. I was thinking you probably could even do this to glass or a mirror if I'm thinking right. So don't get stuck with just the shape and size or use of the gourd. So the first thing I did is I put a acrylic. I did the black in the sides and black acrylic paint, and then the front, it can be any type of red, and you don't have to do red, you could do whatever you like. I used the Memories ink and I used the cherry red, and then I sponged on top of it, and I like to do a lot of sponging on my gourds as well, and I used the black acrylic paint to make it come out even more, and then I used the antique copper. This is a metallic paint, and there's just a little bit on it. You wouldn't have to use the copper, but I like to use two colors when I happen to be doing my texture. So that is what the base is. So the first thing we're going to do before we do anything else is we're working with the quick wood, the quick copper we take off of all of our jewelry. You don't want it to get stuck. Remember, it dries rock hard. So we want to take that off. And then we're going to take our vegetable spray and we're going to spray our hands, and we're also going to spray our mold. And I got this wonderful cross mold from After Midnight Stampers, in their website is amstamps.com, and after working with these, I love her rubber molds. They are the best quality I've worked with, and for doing the method that I've been using, you can simply just put it right on there and push the back, and it is so easy to use. So that is where I purchased that. Just go online and get it from her. Tell them that Miriam Joy sent you, because she'd love that as well. But we're going to spray that mold as well so that it's all down in there and it doesn't stick to the mold. And I'm just going to wipe the rest of it off on top with my hands, because we don't want it on the side with the quick copper so it can stick to our gourd. So we're going to be using the quick copper. And this actually contains real copper. This has only a workable time of about, I think the instructions say about 7 or a little bit more than that minutes. It makes it great for projects like this because they're done that fast, and then you can get on with giving them away. So it'd be something really fun to give at Easter. Now this does have chemicals in it. This part does come out and it has some little bit of information about this product, so I do recommend that you check it out and follow their instructions. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how I use it. So we're going to take this first part off. We're also going to put a little bit on our scissors so that it doesn't stick to our scissors. And this cross is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to cut about that much. And then when you're done, take this and put this back on and just put it back in your tube and it stays. Now, I've done some videos on quick wood and quick copper. I'm not going to go into all the details that are on this one, so check those out. I think you'll really enjoy those. Now you've got your two parts. We've got to mix it. It does have a little bit of smell to it, and you can see how we've got it marbleized right now. We want to get this all one color. And one of the things that helps with the quick copper that I forgot to set on the table is when you first start working with it, it has kind of a dry, almost a powdery, and all I do is wet my fingers and work that water just from my fingers in there, and that makes it a lot easier to work with and probably gives you a little bit more time on that. So we've got that all mixed together. So I'm going to check this out. We may actually need a little bit more copper in this. And we do. We still need a little bit more. So we're going to take it. I'm going to figure about that much more. Put that back on. And I'm going to, don't forget to remove the plastic off the outside if you saw me remove that. Some people would start to work on their project and ask me what was wrong with it. The plastic would still be in it, so don't forget to remove that. So we're going to get this mixing. We're going to mix it all back in with this. Don't forget to mix it, because that's what activates it. If you don't mix it and you just put it in, it's not going to get hard on you. I've had that. People tell me they forgot to do that as well. What's really neat about this rubber mold is you can move it and kind of open it back and forth and everything. And remember, we don't want it coming over the top. We just want it right level with our mold. So that's about perfect amount. You never want it over, because if you squish it on, it's going to come out the sides. Now we're going to simply take this, and you can kind of tell by the shape of your mold, which is really nice, where you want this as well. And we're going to push this down, and I'm going to check it. I just love these molds. They're just so much fun. This last guy's sticking just a tad. Isn't that beautiful? I'm just going to push him down just a little bit. If you quite didn't have him lined up, just simply redo it and line him up a little bit more. I don't want to play with this one too much. You can put it back in your mold and do it again. It's not a big deal. But I don't want to mess with him too much today. We're now carrying some of the Perfect Pearls embossing powders, and especially the gold. And I don't want to have this pop open. I forgot to open it for the first time here, so this could get interesting. So my hands are nice and slick. There we go. Because we use so much of these, and there's a lot in these. This is going to last you a long time. Now, in the past, I've always told you, make sure that you always pounce it on your lid. Don't come over to your project and just go directly on it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to try and get the highlighted areas, the lifted areas. We're not going to do the rest of them. We're just going to put those on just like that. That's so cool. I just was really ecstatic when I found the stamps, or excuse me, the molds. I just think this is so cool. It's so easy to do. And we're just getting all of those highlighted areas. And we just brought that to life, and that's all we're going to do because the color of it is so great. The other thing I did is I took it and I just walked some of the powder around it to kind of give it a glow. So we're just going to bring that around it. Now remember, it doesn't take that long for this to dry. And you would simply just, after you're done, varnish it. I would probably use my triple thick on this to give it a nice, shiny, bright varnish, but you can do whichever kind of way you prefer. And then I simply took my glue gun. We're going to scooch some of this other stuff over. We're going to bring in our glue gun. Now remember, you've already varnished and you've let it dry, and it only takes a couple minutes. And I have a piece of leather, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we get it on nice and neat here. And That's the hardest part, just laying that first part down straight. Once we get it on, it goes easier there. Try not to put too much glue on it because you don't want it coming through to the front. If it does, just take your hobby knife and cut it off. And don't worry about your tails because those you can get later. Just get that piece on there. This really cleans your gourd up on the edges. It just really makes it so much cleaner and nicer. And just gluing those on. Finish this up. We got one more side. And you saw at the top I did that exactly, cut it off exactly straight. I'm going to show you how I do my hangers. What I do is I bring that to the top. Make sure it's all one side, not the other side. It's on nice and flat. I got that side a little bit wiggly here. Recording turned on me. Alright, so we have this right here, and then what I do is I find a bead that I can get through with my lacing, and what you'll have to do sometimes is take your leather strip and just cut that to a point, and then that way it'll fit through your bead. And you got to make sure you have a big enough bead that it'll fit through that. Alright, and then I put my bead right up on top, and then however long I want my loop. And then I glue the bead to the top, not too much glue, you don't want it showing all the way through. And then so we're going to keep this so we know exactly which direction this is and where we're going to cut this. And I'm actually not going to put this back in the bead. I get it down as close to that bead and in as much as I can, but I'm actually gluing it on to that loop. And we're getting it down there, like we said, as close as we can to that. So then you get a nice loop, and that needs to be glued just a little bit more right there. But isn't that wonderful? And you can take that, give that to somebody at Easter, or not even think about turning it into an ornament, put it on your gourd. Just, there's so many things that you can do with it, and I really, really thought you'd enjoy seeing that and doing that with me. I hope you had as much fun as I did on this. And for your molds, don't forget that those are from amstamps.com, and tell them Miriam Joy sent you, and she's got a great selection, and those work really, really good. She's got lizards, which I've been trying so hard to find that I'm excited to try, and maybe we'll do one of those as well. For any questions that you have, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com, and you can also visit my website, which is miriamjoy.com. There's also a Facebook link there where we post gourds daily, and also a YouTube link there. So if you got to this one and you haven't seen the rest of them, there's quite a few out there, and we hope to put more and more up for you, especially doing the different holidays so you have fun projects. So let me know if you like this one. Thank you, and God bless.